So do you see the microphone? Okay, and what happens when you tap? Okay. And you get any notification about asking to unmute? Yeah, yes.
You need it, you could use this or you need to go higher. No, I don't know.
Oh, no, I was trying to see what it was.
I just ran out of.
Okay, that's strange. Okay, well, there you go. We got your picture. Okay, let's put you on speakerphone. Can you hear us? Me or everybody in the whole room? I'll just leave you on speakerphone. That's how come.
Yeah.
This should work. Okay.
Can you, Councilwoman Shivers, can you say something just so I can, no, I hear you?
Good evening, Council.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
She's still, I think she's coming in. Call this meeting to order. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Sachsenheimer,
Here.
Councilwoman Cleveland,
Here.
Councilman Jackson, Councilman Evans, Councilwoman Shivers,
Here.
Councilman Nelson,
Present.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Here.
Councilwoman Bayer.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? So moved. Second. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the September 10th, 2024 regular council meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second. Second. So any corrections or anything? Motion to approve. Motion to approve as written.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
That's the minutes, right?
Yeah, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. B, approval of the minutes of the September 26, 2024 special city council meeting. Can I get a motion? So moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any corrections? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as written? So moved. A second?
Second.
Can I get a vote, please? Vote, I need a vote. All in favor?
Oh, yeah.
All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Ayes have it. Citizen comments. Anyone who would like to
Loretta Williams.
speak, please come forward.
I'm Loretta Williams. I live at 5567 Winchelsea Drive. I've been there for 28 years and I'm going to stay. But I have a problem with the neighbor, as I was here last month complaining about the neighbor at the address of 5604 Holborn. And I did receive a copy of the notice of violation, and that's dated the 11th or 13th of 2023. And there has not been nothing done since then. Although the neighbor is complaining that it's my property, which Mr. Dennis, as I said last week, came in my yard and I explained why my fence is built the way inside out, because the neighbor claimed the property at that time to where the contractor's had to build the fence inside out. Now the neighbor is denying the property. So I need someone, again, to do something about the code violation because the overgrowth, the weeds overgrowth is damaging my fence. Just to let you all know what's going on and something needs to be done. And I will, in the meantime, doing my research to find out what can I do to further this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Williams.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Chauncey Trowell.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Ernestine Shivers for inviting me tonight. As she said, my name is Chauncey Trollick, and I'm a Normandy neighborhood reading captain with an organization called Ready Readers. Part of my job, being a Ready Readers or neighborhood reading captain volunteer, is to share reading, literacy, and books with children and their families in the community. And some of the things that, or some of my responsibilities are canvassing the neighborhood, talking to parents, talking to children, passing out books, delivering books to daycare centers, having story time, having different literacy night events, which is something that I would like to do in our community. I've had a couple of events so far. Also providing resources to parents about reading, because we know if you can't read, you can't do much of anything else. Research shows that the more books that children have in their homes, the better they do in school. Also, 3rd and 4th grade reading scores determine the number of jail cells that are built and so on. So we're trying to do things to change that. Some of the books that we give out, and all the books are donated by different organizations. So some of the books that we give out are board books. This would be like 0 or birth to 12 months. Another book, 2 to 3 year old, for 2 to 3 year olds. And then this book would probably be appropriate for 4 to 8 year olds. And all that we ask in return is for the parents to complete a survey. We provide them with a self-addressed envelope to mail to the Ready Readers organization, and just ask questions about the age of their children, how often do they read, the number of books that they have in their home, and so on. So I just wanted to come and introduce the program. It's relatively new in Normandy. It's like a pilot program, but they have it up and running in the West End as well as Dutchtown. So I wanted to make everyone aware that I am here. There are a total of 6 of us. They would like to have 4 more. There's a special need, especially in Pine Line and Wellston. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What's your name again, ma'am?
Chauncey Trollick. Yes, I have a card and I wrote my number on the sign-in sheet. Do you need a
Anyone
card?
else?
Here, Deanna.
First of all, I just want to commend everybody for the wonderful event we had on Saturday. The Jazz Festival was wonderful. How many people do you think were there? 200? 250? Oh, it seemed like a whole lot more to me.
Yeah, maybe 200.
Well, and I also want to thank everybody for all the hard work that they did, you know, on the National Night Out thing before then. I was happy to see some of our other municipalities send their representatives, and for the council people and Yolanda that showed up. It was really good, and thank you, for Tamika for all her hard work too. And her son, who is a golf cart rider, golf cart rider. Yes, anyway. So first of all, I just wanted to thank that, you know, even though maybe the attendance was kind of small, you know, at the first part of it, I think once we keep doing this every year, just like with the jazz thing, we'll have more and more people that get to come. So it was a lot of hard work for the Parks Board members and stuff. So, you know, I think we just need to keep things like that going. And, you know, people aren't used to us having events and stuff. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I'm really proud of everybody. And then I just had a question. I had a little meeting with Karen and Victoria and, I don't know, a couple other people were there. And we discussed some things that were going on in the city and stuff, and I just have one question. I was looking over the budget, and we had been talking about the Economic Development Fund, and in here it says that, because I was kind of wondering where that economic development money goes, because, you know, I was part of that group. Oh, Tony, you probably remember, we did the half-cent sales tax for economic development, parks, and then one other thing, the sales tax thing. Yeah. So anyway, as far as economic development, you know, I read in here that the half-cent sales tax, that it goes for ongoing maintenance and improvements on Natural Bridge. And then it says, other uses include a transfer to general fund to pay for administrative salaries related to economic development. And I didn't know what that meant, because I don't think we have an economic development
Person.
director.
Yeah.
So is this just in general if we get one, or do we have one? Do we transfer funds? So that's my question.
Thank you. We'll talk
All right.
about that once we get to the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more?
Gregory Reed.
Good evening, my name is Gregory Reed. I live at 3619 St. Mary's Lane. I moved to St. Louis in 1988, and interestingly enough, the address that I had at that time was 3619 St. Mary's Lane. So 35 years, 40 years later, I kind of come full circle. I came to St. Louis to join a friend who had an office supply building on Natural Bridge right there at Hanley Road. And while that didn't work out, it has worked out for a wonderful experience here in the St. Louis area. I've had a chance to see the development of Natural Bridge over the years, and it's been interesting. As you know, there's always ebb and tides in businesses, and we've seen some come and some go. But one that has been there for all of these years is Apple World. And I've had an opportunity over the years to work with and to attend many activities at Apple World. And I wanted to speak in support of a project that they have going on, a chess tables that they have out in front of their establishment. Now, I had a chance to work with some groups on the east side who also had chess tournaments or chess tables in front of their business, and it was a wonderful experience. You saw young people and old people that would get together, sit down, pitch their minds against one another, and have a real learning experience and a dialogue. And I would like to encourage the city council to allow whatever is necessary for those chess tables to be out there. Now, I used to catch the bus, and in fact, I used to catch the bus out in front of Apple World, and there is a lot of room there, so there's no obstruction to the passengers walking by, anything along that line. So again, please give a favorable consideration for those tables. I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can you check Zoom? Recording. I can't see this.
Would you ask them?
Yeah, would you verbalize it?
Miss Forrest, are you on?
She's muted.
She's on. You're muted.
There are you. How are you? Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. This is citizen comments time.
I'm sorry, I can't hardly hear you.
This is the citizen comments time, so you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. One moment. Don't come away. Hold on. Hi. I'm sorry. I'm in Canada with my grandkids, and they've opened up the door, so I apologize. everyone, I'm sorry, I'm in Canada and I apologize. I am here on behalf of Afro World, and we've been a community-based business since in the Normandy area for over 54 years. We have always taken pride. We've always taken pride in supporting the community without asking for much in return. Until now, we haven't applied for any local grants as we felt other businesses were in greater need than ourselves. However, today I'm reaching out to ask for support of the tables, the chess tables that we have up front. As part of the Great Street Initiative, businesses in the community, including Afro World, were encouraged to share ideas for community engagement. We discussed having outdoor tables where people could gather and play chess, which foster critical thinking and teaching young people to respect local businesses. Our location has a large patio-like area that is perfect for this type of atmosphere, which was moved in front of our building. It brings more people who now sits and waits near our planter. It's a really cool spot. If you guys haven't seen it, I encourage you to go take a look. Recently, we placed outdoor chess tables in front of the store where families and community members have gathered to play. We choose to leave the chess pieces out 24/7 to encourage usage because the bus runs on a pretty much, late at night. Even if people take the pieces, we really don't care because they're replaceable, and we really encourage them to take the pieces because unbeknownst to them, they're actually learning. It's a strategic way of thinking. We put the tables, we placed them in front because we wanted to make sure it was, I don't know if you guys know, but we've had ongoing vandalism from our neighborhood teenagers walking down from the middle school for many years. They damaged our large windows. We've been asked to remove our rocks from the front, but we thought of a more creative way, thinking that the chess tables could encourage them to respect the businesses in the area, to kind of show or take a different type of initiative. So the tables were custom ordered, approved by the St. Louis Chess Club of St. Louis. You guys are familiar with them. They're one of the leading supporters of chess, and we're very fortunate actually to have these in the Normandy area. Not many businesses are chosen for that. They were placed there early August. However, I recently received a phone call, I think it was last Thursday, from one of my staffers, or Wednesday, saying that the tables need to be removed, at which time I called Sam, the person I had been in contact with in Normandy, and so I didn't get a call initially from him, and so I called back and I asked the city clerk. I said, I really need Sam's help. Can you see if he's somewhere in the building? And she did that. I'm so thankful for the clerk. Thank you so much for that. But then he mentioned that he hadn't heard from MoDOT in terms of the approval, and he said he never received a phone call from myself nor the people from the chess club reaching out asking about it. And that's not going to go into that because it's not a point of I'll take full responsibility for that. That's what I have to say about that. I'm not going to go back and forth about whether we called or not, because that's it is either here nor there. So there was definitely a misunderstanding. I did talk to MoDOT today, and they were very pleasant. They had no idea we had that much space. They came out earlier about 9 o'clock this morning, or a little bit later, took pictures, and they're going to continue to proceed to do some other looks. And they said, don't make any changes. There's no need to do that. You guys have that letter until they're able to come to, they're going to do their investigation as well. The tables, as far as, I just think they're such an important initiative to redirect destructive behavior in our community. We face several challenges in this area, from vandalism to issuing with public lighting, goes in and out with our fountain. And while we continue to advocate for improvement, this chess project is one way we can contribute to positive change. We're already received letters of support, and I believe I sent those to the mayor, and I also have more that I'll send over later. They're still coming in. And Afro World has always given back. That's what we do. We give back during Christmas. I don't know if you all know, but around on the one side that Sam said that we should put our tables on, we also own that lot, as well as we own the savings and loan lot down the street. But we use that during Christmas time. We pass out over $5,000 in toys during Christmas. People drive around through our drive-through and pick up their gifts. Also during Easter, we pass out over 1,000 baskets during that time. So that area is already being pre-used. So we're also putting out, we just been approved to have, by Ready Readers, we're gonna have an outdoor library as well for the middle-aged students that walk up and down the street. So they're able to get free books. So we're doing the work, we're doing our part. We're not asking for much. We're just asking for support. And when I originally called, that's what I thought that would happen, where I would be coached in terms, and that was just a misunderstanding on my part, not really understanding how the council and the Normandy City Hall works, because I haven't gotten involved with a lot of that. I try not to. I try to be supportive and do my part as a business. With our UPS, we do all of that. We, pretty much for free, pretty much everything we do, and it's for our community. So we're just asking for your support, and we look forward to your support and any resolution that can benefit the entire community, because it really is about the community. And I thank you all for taking this. I want to thank the mayor for calling me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the council members. I appreciate the community that have come out to support this effort, and hopefully we can all come together to make this work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to read some letters just to the council during the citizen comments in support of.
Can you talk a little louder?
Sorry, I wanted to read some letters that I received from Ms. Forrest about the chess tables. So one is from the Awakening, and that is the church down on Natural Bridge across from Unsel. It says, "Dear council members of Normandy City Council, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing in support of the Engaging Community project that can contribute positively to our neighborhood. The installation of a large outdoor working chess set at Afro World located at 7276 Natural Bridge Road. This concept is inspired by the University of Missouri Extension's initiative to promote public artwork that fosters community engagement. Chess is more than a game. It is a timeless activity that promotes critical thinking, strategic planning, and social interaction. By installing a giant chess set in the public space, we can create a vibrant hub where community members of all ages can gather, learn, and play together. Here are some of the positive aspects of this proposed installation: community engagement, educational opportunities, safe recreation, tourism and economic development. I believe that the installation of a large chess set in Afro World would be a wonderful addition to our community, promoting engagement, education, and enjoyment for all. I kindly ask that the City Council consider this proposal and explore the potential for collaboration with local stakeholders to bring the vision to life. Thank you very much for your consideration. I look forward to the opportunity to discuss this exciting project further and contribute to the continued growth and vitality of our beautiful community. Sherry Trent Miles, pastor of New Awakening UMC." Also, there was an email from Gina Muldroff Watkins. Normandy City Council, I submit this letter in support of Afro World outdoor chess tables. From the perspective of a professional school counselor, committees have many needs, whether it is social cognitive development or mental well-being, just to name a few. COVID has caused the disconnection of social constructs, educational values, which has contributed to the gaps of cognitive development and educational values. Afro World has been a cultural support system in our community, bridging the gap and healing our community through cultural programming. Having worked in the school system for over 15 years, I have asserted that even though St. Louis may be rich in opportunities, Most underserved children in North County seldom have the experience of these opportunities. It is important for those who provide enriching opportunities to be able to bring such experiences to them. When this is not the case, it is the community that needs to provide such opportunities. Entities such as the chess club and their sole outside chess boards will not be experienced by many of our underserved children living in North County. Chess is known to benefit children by reducing stress, developing critical thinking skills, teaching collaboration, increasing communication, and strategic thinking, all of which promotes mental well-being. Not only does chess promote life skills, it also has the capacity to bring socioeconomic age gaps. Community chess has a way of meeting a hierarchy of needs, such as a sense of belonging, inclusion in friendships, increasing our self-esteem and self-confidence, our self-accusational needs. These are just a few ways in which the residents of Normandy can benefit. It is with great hope that I submit this letter in support of Apple World, supporting the community with outdoor chess tables. And then there was another one from Brenda Ringo, who also says that AfroWorld is a business and is an asset of positive influence in the city of Normandy. These activities will not only engage our youth and others in constructive, critical skills, but will also help foster a sense of pride as well as combat property destruction in our community. Thank you for your consideration. There was also another letter from Carrie Stark, who also said, I sincerely hope that you consider the significant benefits of chess tables will bring to the community and allow them to remain part of our shared efforts to build a better Normandy. There was a letter from the operations manager at St. Louis Chess Club. As well as Monica Green Holston, who is the city mayor of Greendale. I'm writing this memo to express my total support for the beloved AfroWorld business and the chess tables on the sidewalk. We are beyond blessed to have AfroWorld in our midst for these years. What can we do? What they do for all of us. Love me some AfroWorld. The last one is from Uplands Park, Ricky Connor. I'm writing to express my strong support for the outside chess tables located at AfroWorld. I believe that the outside tables align perfectly with Normandy's Great Streets initiative, which encourages outside activities and increased foot traffic to support local businesses. The chess tables enhances this initiative. I urge you to consider a positive impact these tables can have in our community and support their continued presence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I just wanted to read those for the record. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more citizen comments? Okay, we will move on to report of officers. So I just wanted to piggyback off of Terry. Jazz night was amazing. The weather was great. I did want to say we did have a hiccup. They blew a fuse, and so we had to actually borrow a generator from the fire department. So the fire department saved the night and everything. But it was a great turnout. We did have a lot of people from everywhere. The Parks Department did a great job. The community came out. The National Night Out. It was wonderful. We got a lot of good information about the park. And everything. People were giving their input, so that was wonderful. So thank you to everybody that came out and supported. Halloween night is coming up on the 26th of October. Also, we have the reopening of Hoselle Park that's coming up November 16th, sorry. And from my understanding, the park is pretty much done. And also, if you have not done so, the city survey that came in the mail, in the brown sheet with the envelope that asks you about what you want to see happening in Normandy, that will close on Friday. So if you haven't gotten an opportunity to give your input, tell your neighbors. It's really important. We want to hear from everybody. to see in what direction they would like the city to go. That's all I have. And I'm gonna start down here with, wait. Yeah, see, sorry.
I just wanted to say kudos to the Public Works Department. I've seen them out and about and just cutting grass and doing anything that they could do. And we appreciate it. Everyone can see it, so thank you.
I just wanna, just say, I would like to, and this is on something else, I would like to revisit the attendance policy later on, during this session.
We can talk about that during the workshop.
Okay.
When is workshop?
The next workshop?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, just
oh.
next workshop.
I guess I can say that right here. We actually, segue, we moved the workshop. The next workshop will be October 29th at 5:30, Tuesday.
That it, you want to send out a reminder?
Yeah, we must have already marked, I'm just don't.
Because normally we get together, figure that
I do wanna say, there's been a lot of, gunplay. I've been hearing, especially down in Yard especially the last several nights. I've been hearing it.
West Shoe?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard
Oh,
something
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, the last three nights.
I heard it last night.
Yeah. I mean, it's like ongoing. So is this something that's new? Is it something that's getting ready to start being a problem? We need to address that. It's been going on about, what, 10, 11, maybe it's 11, but I've been hearing it a lot. You know, I can hear it close, because I'm so close to you guys, but I can hear it coming from Ward 1. So, we need to address that.
Yeah,
before it
can you
gets
guys
out.
tell which direction
Let's,
it's coming from?
let's make the comments this way.
Yeah, so that's where I'm, that's my concern, so.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Shivers?
Yes, I wanted to just say that I've gotten quite a few comments and from our Ward 3, and I just wanted to emphasize it just doesn't happen in the schools, and I've informed our citizens in Ward 3, if you see something, say something. That's what we're here for. And we want to join together and not keep our mouths closed and be verbal about everything that's going on in Normandy. Fall happens to be my best part of the year, and the leaves are changing, and I just really love fall. And I wanted to ask about if you have like trees, limbs that are coming down because of the different weather and temperatures changing every other day. Can we put those on the curb still, and would Public Works pick them up because of the climate changes?
I'm gonna let Dennis answer that when he gives his report.
Okay, that sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council.
Yes, thank you. Mrs. Sheila Forrest, can you hear me? Thank you very much for what you're doing for our city. We definitely need those tables to be out there on Natural Bridge in front of your place. As the district chess coach of Normandy for the last 8 years, we've got programs in all the schools, elementary, middle school, as well as the high school.
And we will have, as an assistant with the Gateway Chess League, as one of the officials, we will have a tournament at the Connector. That's the new school, the new portion that they put in the school on the 19th of this month and the 26th. We'll have schools coming in from all over the area, even from Kansas City and even Mount Vernon, Illinois. They come in with the Gateway Chess League. So we will be having those tournaments here, and it is so important that we have those boards and those tables out there, because when those kids leave, the middle school kids leave on really nice warm days, they don't catch the bus home because they live all over 24/1. They will walk down the street, and we do know that sometimes they'll maybe throw rocks and do things like that, but those chess boards and that chess tables down there would be great to have tremendously, because as a chess player, I know that chess I've been doing chess for 28 years. Lindbergh High School for 17 years, and Normandy for 8 years, and all over. The Wesley House in the city of St. Louis. But chess is great, and even the Scholastic Center. Thanks to Mr. Rich Sinfield. He grew up here at the St. Vincent's as a thrown away kid. Grew up, did wonderful things. And it's the first time he's really did something really great as far as putting those chess tables out there. And I really would like to see us make sure that those tables stay there, because in all the time I've been playing chess and been in tournaments, hundreds of tournaments, I've never seen a fight at a chess tournament. Don't happen. It's a sport of the mind. That's what it is. And I just want to thank Ms. Forrest, and I want to thank also Mr. John Bowman, president of the NAAC, called me earlier, and he said, Nelson, and he's a chess player. He said, Nelson, talk to the board and try and do whatever you can do to make that happen. Also, board members, Mr. William Humphreys, Dr. Petty, Dr. Hards at the school board, they all to an agreement of having this done, because chess is a tremendous sport of the mind, and we need to have this in our city. And thank you again, Ms. Forrest, for allowing me to be there, because we got a lot of things to do in this city. And this is a great thing. So I just want to say that, and just thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Ricky. I appreciate you.
Councilwoman Valley?
Okay, two things. I've been meeting with, as Terry said, the group on the Code Enforcement Commission. We've had 2 meetings. I've been in the process of putting together a citizen's guide to code enforcement, so that people can know what the expectations are, that they can keep some of these things top of mind, that they can understand what happens if they get a ticket or a summons, and how many days and so forth they have to respond, and what their rights are. It's kind of a citizen's rights, but it's also explaining our process. I've got some basic work done, but there's some other perspectives that I think we need to add, so we're still working on that. The other thing is, this morning I went to the meeting with Ms. Campbell at that Beyond Housing had at the Danforth Plant Science Center. And it was all about their reimagining their organizational structure and having a matrix organization, and it's kind of providing wraparound services. But I got up and spoke for a minute about the needs of seniors, that it's great that we have a lot of people who want to support younger families and helping them to acquire homes. But there are those of us who are aging who want to stay in our own homes, and we need resources and help. So I've asked for some help there for grant writing, and I've been looking up all kinds of things about grant writing. The other thing that came out of that meeting that was really interesting is that was a member of the board of the Glen Echo Country Club. Glen Echo has been our neighbor in Glen Echo Park forever, since the early 1900s. And I've always felt that kind of our side of the fence was invisible, that they didn't actually even see us. There's an MSD project that is coming up, and they're gonna need some help and cooperation. And I need help and cooperation. We need help in a couple of areas. Maintenance of the country club fence that divides us, it's getting all overgrown like Barchester Park. Learning more about the MSD project, and then the gentleman who I met with agreed to be on the Historic Preservation Commission. He founded and wrote the documents to set up the Glen Echo Historic Foundation, which technically includes Glen Echo Park, but has never been included. We were the red-haired stepchild on the other side of the fence. So I was kind of happy about all that. So Doug Aiken and I will be setting up a meeting to go over and talk to him about historic preservation. And we'll begin a dialogue. The last thing that he said is that he wants to be a good neighbor, that the country club wants to be a good neighbor in Normandy. And my motto was, good fences make good neighbors. I talked about the concept that Yolanda had spoken with me about, because we're both Fourth Ward, in addition to her having the interim seat here. And some ideas about meeting with all the business owners and coming up with some ideas about building use, beautification processes, and some grants that might be available. So it was a good day.
Thank you. City Administrator.
I'll briefly just touch on one item in my written report, or actually two items. So the 2023 CDBG funds have been released. That's $57,000 for dangerous building and $9,000 at the time for speed bumps. I'm going to talk with the people at county to use the full 66 for dangerous building abatement. If there are other uses, if we can reallocate those funds, but unless I hear anything from the council, I mean, if you think they should be used for something different, reach out. But we do have a few dangerous buildings that need addressing that we can do with those funds. Parkchester Park Survey. So I think it was mentioned that we did have a booth at National Night Out where we did get some planning input on the Parkchester Park project through our consultant SWT. They do have a Survey Monkey out. I don't have the link with me tonight, but I should have it tomorrow, and I'll send it out to everybody as well as get it on our website. They were passing it out at National Night Out. And so if you want to have your voice heard pretty early on in the planning process, that's a good place to do it. Also, they'll do another planning workshop, kind of open house type thing. We're looking at November right now. And we'll try and publicize that as well if you want to get involved in the process. And then finally, I can talk about more in the financial report, but I wanted to let the council know that when we were doing bank reconciliations this month, it appears that in August we had a check that we think was stolen out of the mail and then washed. We've made a claim with Regions. Our police department's looking into it. We should get our money back. The check was for just over $10,000, and I've heard from other cities that they've had issues. So we're reviewing our procedures and processes with positive pay, which is something that we can do that can help prevent this with the bank. But I just wanted to let the council know that that happened.
Thank you. Chief of Police.
I have nothing outside of the report provided.
Public Works Director.
Nothing to add to the report, but to answer Ms. Sugar's questions, limbs we do not pick up anymore. That was changed by the council. The ordinance was changed a little over a year ago. And leaves, we're hoping to pick up leaves, but our leaf back is still in the, being worked on since early August. And it's been approved to be fixed. We just don't know when we're getting it back.
she can't hear you. She didn't hear you.
Just tell her what I said. Thank you.
He said the limbs don't get picked up anymore by Public Works. You have to bundle them and put them in front of the house with, so Waste Management can pick them up, and the leaves need to be in a leaf bag. Because our leaf bag is broken. The hope was to have, the leaf bag working, but we don't know when it's gonna happen. So the best bet is for people to use the services that they're paying for with Waste Management.
Oh, my goodness. And we really need the leaves picked up at this time of year. I sure hate to hear that.
Thank you.
Did we know,
Wait,
did we notify the, city administrator on when that will happen because of the desperate need of picking up the leaves, especially in October?
I'm gonna ask you to email Sam that question, and then, you can have that on record, and then we can talk about it further at a workshop if we need to.
Okay, I'm just trying to get an estimated timeline. Not only myself, but other, people or residents in Ward 3, they inquired about it.
So I think the best bet, is because the council decided a year ago, is to use the services like that you're actively paying for, and that would be to bundle the twigs and unfortunately which I know can be an inconvenience for people, but to put the leaves in a leaf bag. But if you want to email Sam and ask further questions to him and Dennis, that would be great.
Okay, I understand that as well. I'm just saying, you just stated that what we're paying for through Waste Management. We're also paying the city of Normandy.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on from that topic.
Well, I need to ask a question.
Wait, we're gonna.
I like to ask.
You have to ask me to ask.
Well, I ask you to ask.
But I have to acknowledge it.
Okay, we acknowledge the question, I like to ask.
No,
the
that's
question.
not really.
Why do we do it?
So you have to ask me if it's like, you can ask the question, but I get the direction whether to say it can be answered or not.
Okay,
Does that make
well,
sense?
No, it doesn't really make sense because I think that they were talking.
Okay, you can ask the question.
Yeah, because I was, the public works guy was talking, right? So I wanted to ask him a question because we were talking about the leaf act, because we did pick up leaves last year, right? Now, the leaf act broke last year, so it's gonna take 8-9 months for the leaf act to be fixed for this year because the leaves are coming.
I'm gonna stop because that's not something that's actually in his report right now.
It's not?
And so we're gonna table that. Like I said, if you have a question about that, you can definitely email Dennis, or we can put it to a workshop where that would be addressed more so. Does that make sense?
No.
So
Doesn't make sense.
you can either email Dennis and he will email you an answer, or we can put it on a workshop agenda and we can talk about it and
Okay,
discuss it
so-
further then.
Okay, so we don't have a leaf act. Okay, question.
So
Will we be
we're
prepared?
gonna,
Will we be prepared
So
for the
once
snow
again-
and the ice and all that? Will we be prepared for that? Services, that's what I'm talking about. Will we
so
be
that
prepared?
question, I'm gonna ask.
You
that
asked it for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that you email Dennis that question, and then
Okay.
you can get an answer. in a-
Fine, I'll email Dennis or whoever I got to email. We just need to know the question. Citizens like to know too.
And we can discuss it at a workshop, but right now, I think we're moving on topic.
Okay, move on.
So so if you just wanna email him and you can get an answer, that'd be great. City treasurer?
So, good evening. I'm not certain what, I'll say, but, I have the written report that was provided by the city administrator, as well as my narrative. I guess I'll go ahead and say for, section A, with a summary of the income statement. We're currently at a deficit of $73,000 for fiscal year to date. For section B, the total of the general fund balance is at $860,000. For section C, we're currently at 9.7% of the budget remaining for revenues, which is above what it would need to be if we're doing it on a year-to-date basis. So I noted that the city fell short of the budget amount by $60,000 or 1.4%. For section D, noted that the budget remaining for expenditures is 11.1%, which is well above what it should be. So they spent the city spent less than budgeted by almost $125,000 or 2.8% of the budget amount. And then also just note that the budget amount for revenues is $150,000 less than expenditures. Also, good note that all of the individual departments kept expenses under budget.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question about, there's part of my thing that says, mentions the Glen Echo Park money that we brought, and you say $80,000?
Yes, I'll have Mr. Johnson explain.
We'll talk about that when we get to the budget.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
No, it's up here, at the budget. Good, any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Old business, Council Bill number 24-17, an ordinance of the city of Normandy, Missouri.
You need approval of the financial.
Oh, can I get approval of financial reports?
Motion.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Old business, Council Bill number 24-17, an ordinance of the city of Normandy, Missouri, amending chapter 215 of the city of Normandy Code of Ordinances regarding noise ordinances. Can I get a motion to start the discussion?
So moved.
Second?
Second. Or you second, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, we have right now the times for one of my concerns about the times was I don't cut my own words. I didn't know how early was too early, but doing more research, the 7 a.m. time seemed to be appropriate. When I looked at other municipalities, that's the time that they had. So, and then one of the other things that I had a question about that Sam answered was bands and parades, which I think was taken up in outdoor events, which would be permitted, so that wasn't something that we needed to add or to worry about, because that was already taken care of. So, my questions got answered. Anybody else have any?
There was a question I had about the time, so 7 o'clock is.
7 a.m. was a standard time that I saw for municipalities. That was a standard time.
Cause right now it's
For
what,
long
9
hours.
o'clock?
We don't have a time.
Okay.
We were trying to establish a time,
That's 7
but
o'clock.
7 a.m. was the time. And, in talking to some people, basically like in the summer when it's too hot for you to.
Yeah, 7 o'clock,
You
yeah.
gotta get up early. So,
Yeah.
Good Bruce and all that, so, we won't get 9, 10.
So,
Do we have an end time?
the end is 7 p.m. Wait, no, for lawnmowers, it's
9 p.m.
Is it nine? What part is that?
Well, you never.
Subsection H.
H, so it's 6 AM or after nine. And on weekdays, now we might wanna talk about this, on weekdays it says 8 AM or after nine, do we wanna change that to 6? So it's a consistent 6
Hold on.
across the board?
Yeah.
6 AM it's 6 AM start time on weekdays, 8 AM on weekends,
It's 8 AM on weekends?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and both end
I
at
said
9.
Yeah.
So it's
So it's
6 a.m.?
Can we
Yeah.
just push that to 7?
Yeah,
All the way
dark.
across the board?
If you just want a
Yeah.
motion, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
right now, as it
7
stands, it
o'clock,
says,
yeah.
Make a motion 7.
right now, as it stands, it says, a lawnmower equipment or similar type of power device before 6 AM or after 9 PM on weekdays, so Monday through Friday, or after 8 AM or after 9 PM. After 9 PM? On weekends? No.
That's when it's prohibited.
Oh, okay.
And anybody that's cutting grass in the dark, I mean, come on.
Hold up, be quiet a minute. I'm not even just finishing up.
Well, the sun is still light.
So do you wanna make a
Yeah,
motion?
So,
yeah, I make a motion at 7 o'clock across the board.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
I'll second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Can I get a motion to approve the motion as adopted to say 7 AM or
To 7 p.m.
7 AM or 9 PM on weekdays and before 7 AM or after 9 PM on weekends?
is this reading right?
That's when it would be,
So you have to read,
before that time, it would be prohibited, and after that time, so you would work in between those times.
So the operation of any lawnmower, lawn care equipment, chainsaw, wood chipper, blah, 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 before 6,
So you couldn't mow before 6.
so we're gonna change it to 7.
We're changing it to 7 by his motion.
And or after 9
And you
PM.
couldn't mow after 9.
You can mow after 9?
You cannot.
You can't.
you have to read that subsection in line with the overarching section, which is subsection B, right? So at the bottom of the prior page, first page of the ordinance, says the following acts among others are declared to be loud, unusual, disturbing, or unnecessary, namely, the operation of any lawnmower, et cetera, before 7 AM or after 9 PM. So that's the complete sentence there.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add something?
Wait, we have this motion. Do we have to finish this one?
Yes.
You finished?
Oh, can I?
About that.
What?
Is
I
it
didn't hear you.
related?
I didn't hear you.
Is it related, but you do have a
It's
motion on the
related.
table?
But don't we have to finish this motion before we can entertain another motion?
It's not a motion.
Oh,
It's not a
It's not a
motion.
motion.
It's part of the same thing. Now, certain times of the year, 9 o'clock at night, you still got light. So I think we need to fix it where, and like in the spring and summertime, or whenever we get that long day, that they can still continue to mow, because it's still gonna be light. I think we may need to make some adjustments to that.
But it's not gonna be that light though.
Yeah, 9 o'clock is gonna be dark.
It gets dark at 8:30, 8:45.
Yeah, so 9
But 9
o'clock
o'clock's
is dark.
fine.
Right, so,
9 should be,
so what you're saying?
are you making a
Yeah, I'm
motion?
saying
Well, we
that-
have to finish Kevin's motion first.
I know, it wasn't a motion, I'm just talking about certain times of the year.
You're just making a suggestion.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, certain times of the year, people are more longer, and they'll be out there working longer until it's almost dark. You know, so there's times where we need to make that adjustment. Like, you know, does that make sense?
That makes sense. So you said 9 o'clock on those days is what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
like in the summertime, 9 o'clock, you can keep working. It's 9 o'clock, you gotta quit working. But normally, at 5:30, it's dark. So ain't nobody gonna be out there more than 9 o'clock. So it's a different time.
so what do you suggest?
I suggest that we should have a time in the summer.
Like sunset?
A sunset, there you
Sunset,
go.
9:30, something?
Yeah, sunset, you gotta be out there.
Yeah.
Other than that, because there's people gonna be out there wanting to work, it's like at 9 o'clock, at 5:30, I gotta go, and I got all this sun, I got 2 or 3 hours of work to do.
Or a certain amount of time after
Certain amount of
sunset?
time, yeah.
'Cause if-
Half an hour maybe
That's-
after sunset.
30 minutes before or something?
Yeah, 30 minutes or something.
Well, let's go with a set time, cause sunset could mean different.
Sunset,
9:30.
Well, sunset is on about 8:30, it starts. at
Right,
that's
so
what I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm saying, if you wanna go with like a certain time, 9:30, then we all know it, like 7 o'clock to 9:30.
we'll just do, yeah.
We don't wanna do 10.
No, say 7 to 9 in the grass cutting season, you know, and
So you
then
mean like the spring and
in
summer?
the spring and summer,
Summer, okay.
yeah,
And so it would be by season?
by season, yeah. Does that make sense?
Well, spring is still gonna be kinda dark though.
Well, we just go into like April,
Summer.
yeah, April
We,
till.
we do the 9 and then, you know, give in the summertime, maybe to 9:30.
Yeah, like
when
April to
when
August.
it, you know, at the
Yeah.
height.
But 9:30 is dark.
I feel like
Mm.
you
I mean,
kind of
who-
getting into the weeds if
Yeah.
it's months. So
Yeah,
I like the
okay.
times.
So 9 o'clock, 7 to 9, but then in the fall, 7 until dusk.
7 to 7, cut your grass.
7 to 7, right, that
Don't,
sounds good.
if you haven't cut your grass by 7 o'clock, you're not gonna cut it. I'm sorry,
We gotta have
I
some
cut
leeway on
grass
that.
every
So
week.
We gotta have some leeway on that.
So yeah.
At 7 in the evening, that's kinda early.
I like
Yeah,
Cause I might be out there at 7:30.
I like that.
yeah.
9 o'clock, I like 9. Let's, you know, I like 9.
Wait, we're still on your motion, we're still.
Oh,
Yeah, so
man,
7
if-
o'clock, I say
If I
7
hear you at
o'clock.
9, I'm coming out saying something to you.
Well, now it's.
Cut your hand around.
Ordinance.
Forget that, you know.
Wait, what was the motion that was on the floor?
I'm watching that movie, chilling out.
Wait,
Don't-
I need to get a motion.
Does it make sense?
What'd you say?
So correct me if I'm wrong, the motion currently on the table is just to make the times 7 AM to 9 PM, regardless of whatever day it is.
Right.
So if that's the motion that's on the table, there can be a subsidiary motion to amend that motion, or you could just
Well, let's
vote on it
vote on
and make a
this
separate
motion.
motion.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
motion?
Kevin,
Okay, 7 to 7.
so, no, 7 and 9,
7 to
There
9.
was a second.
7 and 9.
7 to 9.
Who was the second? Okay, Steve. Okay, all in favor of adopting the ordinance?
No,
Wait,
we're still on the amendment.
Amendment.
Yeah, adopting the amendment.
Yeah.
The amended motion.
Amending the ordinance.
Oh,
We're amending it, changing
Amending
it.
the motion.
all in favor of amending the motion to state. So this is section H. The operation of any lawnmower, lawn care equipment, chainsaw, wood chipper, stub grinder, leaf blower, or similar type of power device before 7 AM or after 9 PM on weekdays, and before 7 AM or after 9 PM on weekends.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I get a roll? Let's do a roll call vote.
What?
Yeah. Steve? Okay. No, we got a first and a second.
All in favor.
I know, but I want.
Okay, that's fine.
I wanna
Okay,
hear.
all right, that's fine.
Yes.
Councilman Sachsenheimer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cleveland,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Evans,
No,
Councilwoman Shivers,
I won't cut these damn grass after 9 o'clock.
Councilwoman Shivers,
Yes, I'm here.
did you hear the motion?
Yes, I approve.
Councilman Nelson,
Yes.
Shoot your damn mouth.
Councilwoman Baye,
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Yes.
Who?
Tony gonna hurt something.
I'm not kidding. If somebody is cutting their lawn at 9 o'clock, I'm saying.
I'm gonna say, I'm trying to finish it before too. I'm like, Tony, give y'all some problem. Come holler at me.
You have to remember, I'm still muted, so
You're what?
Muted.
I'm still.
No,
muted.
it passed. We were talking about,
Well,
Something else.
Let's see, we just come out. See it.
It passed, yeah.
the amendment passes.
Amendment
So
passes.
we still have to adopt the
You want to
ordinance.
take that into account.
new business, resolution number 24
No, no,
dash.
no, we need to adopt the ordinance.
Adopt it.
I just adopted it.
No.
Oh, now I have,
That was
Son,
done.
you was too
Now I-
club and me.
now, can I have a motion to,
She did read
what? I gotta read it again?
Nope.
that. No, you read it, we're good.
Oh, can I have a motion to adopt the amendment as,
The ordinance.
the motion as amended?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Adopted.
That's gotta be a roll call vote.
That's gotta be a roll call
That's
vote?
the roll call, yes. Councilman Saxonhurst?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cleveland?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Evans?
We're still talking about lawnmowers, right?
Yes.
And limb chippers and
Yeah.
chainsaws.
And all other
and-
sounds.
And all other sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the entire.
Music.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about it.
All right, so you're a no?
So you gotta allow music. No.
Councilwoman Shivers?
Councilwoman Shivers,
Yes,
are you voting yes?
I said yes.
Okay.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Barrier?
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell?
Yes.
Ordinance number 821.
Oh, let me just break out my big backpack. Make a whole
I'm
lot
gonna
of noise.
I'm gonna tell him, Tony mess with you coming out.
5 minutes to 9, every night I'm cutting it off. And just walking up and down the street.
New business, resolution number 24-49. A resolution of the city of Normandy adopting the fiscal year ending in September 30th, 2025, adopting, operating and capital budget. So Sam, can you talk about Councilwoman Valle's question?
Yes, so the budget did not pass at the workshop. The only real feedback that I got at the workshop was that there was requested to be additional funds appropriated for landscaping in parks. And so I did increase the amount of park expenses, that's what we'll do the landscaping out of, by $20,000. So this would be for all our parks, including the native garden at Valle Vista, to if we want to put something in at Holzell or some of the other pocket parks. The fund balance is pretty healthy in the Parks and Stormwater Fund, and so I went ahead and put in there. Also in the same fund, in capital expenditures, I increased the parks capital for the Holzell Park project by $17,000 because the council passed the resolution at the meeting for a light pole to be put in. We did look into, there were some questions about solar. It is about $2,000 more expensive than just a plain light pole. And I mean, the location where it's at, there's electricity readily available. So it would be cheaper and more efficient just to have a regular light pole, in my opinion.
So
Although,
what's the long-term cost as far as solar versus regular light poles?
well, obviously, solar, I mean, the utility bill would be less, to your point. So, yeah, I think it was about 2,000 extra dollars. I can check with Dennis on that.
I got the
Yeah, and so if we can appropriate an extra 2,000, if the council wishes. But those were the only changes. I'll just, while Dennis is pulling that up, I'll just briefly address Ms. Gannon's comment, or question, and citizens' comment as far as the transfer to administrative salaries in the Economic Development Fund. The Economic Development Fund is governed by state statute and what we can use it for. And one of the allowable uses is 20%. You can use up to 20% of your revenues for administrative salaries. We do not have a full-time economic development director. However, the justification is that a lot of the duties of the city administrator, including being the planning and zoning administrator, as well as if we are negotiating economic development incentives with any developers, that would fall on me. So I talked with Amy about this. We think it's justified to transfer those funds to general fund to pay for a portion of my salary. And so it's just based off of 20% of the total revenue for the economic development sales tax.
So just
And
to,
those are
just to be
changes.
clear, that is not a salary increase.
No,
That is just taking part of the salary from the general fund and or part of the salary that we pay him, and we're putting it into the general.
we've done that for 2 years.
This is not Sam got a raise. Just so we're clear.
Yeah.
And last year with the TIF, disbursement, which made our revenues for the fund grow up, basically my entire salary was paid out of economic development fund, not general fund, which allowed us to save more money. So, yeah. That's the only changes, and unless there's any questions about that, I did want to, there were some other questions about the expenditure of Glen Echo Park funds and the net balance of the general fund. So after page 50 in your packet, so that's after the budget, the next page. So if you go to page 50 and then the next page, you'll see, basically I created a table which shows fund balances from 2023 to 2024, the year we just finished, 2025, the year we're talking about, and then as well as next year. I put those in the tables for what we have proposed in this budget, and then next to that, or below that, I put an alternative scenario with if we had never consolidated with Glen Echo Park, or we had never promised, or they never brought over funds with them that we promised to use. So you'll see that in the top scenario, which is the scenario that the proposed budget has, we are showing a $73,650 decrease in the fund balance in general fund for 2025, and that's specifically related to spending the Glen Echo Park money that they brought over, in which this council passed a resolution saying that we'd spend in public works projects in Glen Echo Park. Now, we received those funds in February, right? But we haven't spent them by the end of the fiscal year, so now we're planning to spend them in the next fiscal year. So it looks like there's potentially an operational deficit. However, it's really just for those specific projects. But just to kind of, in case anyone's curious, if we didn't have those funds, then our projected deficit for fiscal year 2024, which we just wrapped up, it's currently projected to be about $130,000 deficit. If Glen Echo Park didn't bring over their money, it would have been a $203,000 deficit. So, again, I'm just trying to show how the timing of when the money came and when we're talking about spending it is kind of affecting the bottom line of the budget. But if you look at the graph at the end as well as just the tables, whether we took in that money or not, we're still going to end up with the same fund balance, which is still pretty significantly higher than it was at the beginning of 2023. And so I just wanted to provide that information just to give some context about the general fund balance and what it's budgeted to change. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions about the budget or any questions that the chair has.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? The only question I have is on Mr. Ellis's report, and it's marked in yellow, so it's not like right there, so you can't miss it. It says revenues of $80,000 from Glen Echo Park were added to the previous year total. But to explain the difference, there were some things that we already did.
Right. Well, and I believe Mr. Ellis's comment, this really does have to do more with the financial report than the budget. But, so, in previous months in the reports I prepared to council, the Glen Echo Park funds were not included in the budgeted funds or the income. And frankly, it's because the way that those should be treated with consolidation, I haven't really gotten clear guidance from our auditor on yet. Is it income, is it a transfer in, or does it just increase fund balance from the day that it starts? But I changed it this month to report it as revenue, and so that, and that happened in February when you guys came over,
right.
And so it kind of, looks, the starting balance on this report is different. The starting income on the financial report was different than the last ending income on the month before, and that's the reason why. And as far as the difference between the 73 and the 80, yeah, there's been about $7,000 in outstanding bills that came over, and the trash bills and things of that nature.
Yeah, we spent some of that money on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions about the budget?
I would have, I mean, it's too late, but I mentioned it, it's probably been a while ago, that we need a crosswalk over by Hosea Park. There's a lot of, speeding going on, and, you got a lot of kids and elderly people trying to get over to the park, and it's like, man, again, if you can get across, and that was requested by one of my elderly neighbors, Miss Moulton, and she's about 75, and she goes to the park, and matter of fact, just had knee surgery, so she goes over to the park, walks, and things like that. So that's something I wish we probably could have put in, maybe we can talk about it later on,
Yeah,
or whatever,
can you-
or maybe try to see how much it would be for a crosswalk.
Across the mid road.
Yeah, because
Are
across
you,
the
are you
middle.
talking about a crosswalk or a sidewalk?
A crosswalk, to
You
know,
cross
with
the
the
middle,
yellow lines, yeah.
maybe some with some
Is that-
flashing lights, or is that something that
Is
we
that-
can do?
That's,
Is that a MoDOT
Is that
road?
a
Yeah, that's
MoDOT?
Can you
That's a-
answer, can you answer that?
yeah, that's
Is
a
that
county road,
county?
that's
We
more.
can definitely reach out to them
To them,
and
okay.
see what we can do. I can't
Yeah.
imagine that it would cost that much.
Right, because
But-
I see them in different little areas, some flashing lights or whatever,
Yeah.
and you got that curve, people flying
Oh.
around there, and people that have accidents trying to stop on, the two streets that's over there from the court.
So do you think that's something that we address later if we want to amend the budget, or
Well, yeah, I would not recommend amending the budget because we have no clue
how much?
if it would cost,
So wait
Right,
later.
so
$20,000
that's something we can look
or
into.
$2,000, like, is it just
Yeah.
paint?
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that in there, something that we can look into, if we can speak with MoDOT. or
Yeah, but
whatever,
it's a
and
county
see if we
road,
can-
yeah, St. Louis
You
County.
know,
Yeah, we'll reach out to St.
There's
Louis
some way we
County.
can do it.
Right.
I mean, it's just
We'll have
something
to
that
go through that.
I would like to,
Can I
you know,
add
see if we can do some of.
I'll put it on the budget.
That's good.
The only other thing is that we might not have to pay for it. We do have a county council person who would go to bat for us with, and have, the county's got more money than we have.
Right,
Let them do it.
yeah, I mean, whatever way, so that's
We'll
fine.
let you speak about it.
We'll talk about it, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any amendments that anyone wants to take up? Okay, so let's have the vote.
I'm sorry. No, can I do anything? No.
I don't have a motion. I said anybody want to make one.
Oh, I move that we.
No, for an amendment to the budget. I was just saying that.
Are we amending the budget?
No, I said, does anybody want to make a motion to amend anything in the budget
Oh.
before we go to the vote? Is nobody? Everybody's okay? All right. Can I make a motion, or can I get a motion to adopt the?
Resolution.
Can I get a motion to adopt resolution 24-49, a resolution of the city of Normandy adopting the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, operating and capital budget? I'll make a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
This is a roll call, or
Is this a roll call or?
It's a resolution, so it can be a voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
The two,
I oppose.
3?
So if there's any question on the vote, you may
Roll
want
call vote.
to ask for a roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Ms. Karen? Oh, you doing a roll call? Roll,
Yeah,
I'm doing a
sorry.
roll call vote.
I'm still catching up from oppositions. Councilman Satzenheimer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cleveland,
No.
Councilman Jackson,
No,
Councilman Evans,
No.
Councilwoman Shivers,
Councilwoman Shivers?
No.
Councilman Nelson,
No.
Councilwoman Valier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes,
and you should get the
so failing to,
To the workshop.
Well, let's play with some numbers, man, let's, you know.
we got, so, motion dies. If you do have so if you have any amendments that you would like to discuss with Sam, please take the opportunity over the next 3 weeks, because what's happening now is that we're operating under the same budget that we had before, which is fine when it comes to the insurance, but there are projects that we cannot start if we don't pass the budget. I am not saying we need to pass the budget if you are uncomfortable with the budget. What I'm saying is, we need motions on the floor that actually move us in the direction of getting there. Does that
Okay,
make
that
sense?
makes sense, but it's like when we save money on things like, you know, whether it's insurance or whatever, I think we need to try to save money instead
so
of
that's-
spending it.
and
That's
so-
where I'm at,
Yeah.
as far as the budget is concerned.
So we need to have motions that say, I wanna do this and not this, or, and everything, so.
Can I say
Yeah.
a little bit? Yeah, okay, so we had a call for amendments to this budget. We've been working on this budget for what, 4 months now? About 3-4 months?
Since July.
Right. And, you know, we beat this dog a lot. We don't always all agree on everything. But we do have to work together as a board to make whatever changes we think that we need to make before we come to the meeting. We have to read the stuff, we have to go to a specific line item and object to that. Not just that we're spending too much money. We have to be very, very specific about what we don't like about the budget. Because it's dangerous to go into the fiscal year without one.
So the next meeting is October 29th. Once again, anything you wanna talk to Sam about, feel free to call, email. If you still have problems with anything, just, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Councilwoman Bailey said. Amendments, adjustments, any of those things would help out a lot with moving the process forward. Resolution number 24-51, a resolution of the City of Normandy amending a prior resolution calling for a joint establishment of a multi-jurisdictional transportation department district with other participating municipalities within the 24-1 partnership, and authorizing certain actions related thereto. This is the 1% sales tax with TDD that we've been
I
talking
think we
about.
missed, I think we missed.
Sam, can
we
you-
missed 50.
No, Sam's gonna give us
Point of order, you skipped an item on the agenda.
what I skipped?
50.
Oh, sorry. Resolution number 24-50, I skipped waste management. A resolution of the City of Normandy authorizing the city administrator to execute an agreement with Waste Management for a single-family solid waste services. So you guys have this one in your packet. So reading over the contract, there are a few things that I tweaked, and I think they're in red, maybe?
They are.
They're in red, and it was basically like the distribution of the flyer. I took some objection to just some of the wording that said it could be electronic and not written, and then I wanted more concrete dates on when new information would be mailed out. So what this does is basically lets us say, yeah, we have these changes on the floor, and if they agree to them, basically, we can go ahead and sign the contract.
Right, so just to kind of piggyback on that, everything in black has been agreed to between the city and Waste Management. It's purely, the city has made some additional changes that are in red. That's what we're waiting on from Waste Management. This resolution just basically authorizes us to, rather than having to come back with the final contract, this just authorizes Pro Tem Campbell and Sam to execute the contract once it's finalized. And again, these items in red are the only things that are still being negotiated, so it's very, very close.
And it's very minor, but
It
I
is.
just want it in writing, that's pretty, yeah.
Agree, get it in writing.
Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any questions about the contract or anything, or any?
Yeah, I wanna ask a question.
Yep.
How long will the contract be this time?
Sam, can you answer that?
It is 3 years guaranteed, 2 years optional, and then there's also basically something in there that we can just keep going as long as we want
Okay.
with inflation.
So I see in red where it states that prorating, if they don't pick up your trash in one day, prorated, charge. So if they don't pick up your trash, then what happens? You don't have to pay for that?
So that part right there, that caveat, I wanted added because there wasn't a penalty for Waste Management not doing what they were supposed to do. And so my thought process was, if there's a day that the trash is not picked up on a Monday, then that customer would be prorated for that particular.
If it's not picked up by
If
the
it's not
next
picked
day.
up
The
by
next day.
the scheduled time.
True.
So basically, we're holding them accountable for not doing what they're supposed to.
Okay, so.
Well, September. Can I ask a question?
Why you sitting there?
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So we must do a 3-year because the last 3 years of Waste Management has been terrible. It really has. And we had to deal with a whole lot of stuff that happened, you know, not picking up trash. Even less than 2 months ago, they still weren't picking up certain trash. And Ward 2, I think they missed 2 streets. So we've got to have a way where we can breach. If they breach their contract, they got to pay. You know, we can't play games with them. You know, 3 years of horrible. You know, so they got to go another 3 years dealing with them.
Can,
No way we can do a 1-year contract or 2 years or, you know?
The bid was for 3 years, and we got them from 2 different providers, and this was the provider that the council picked. So,
Oh, I know, I understand that.
yeah,
You said
that
we did
decision's kind of been made. I mean, I'm not saying, the bid has been picked. The contract is really just working out the terms.
I remember, I recall.
Yeah, right, so a reversal from a major term, like the length of the contract, or the provider itself, that would be pretty nasty.
All right, well, I'll just, go ahead, do what you want to do. I'm not in agreement with this, man.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to do anything, I'm just,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm good.
Well, yeah, because we had the vote, and that's just how the vote.
I understand. I understand.
Remember, the manager, he promised, can we go in that direction? Where he promised, I can't remember the dollar amount, but he gave the Port 2, San Diego, Santa Monica, San Bernardino a credit. With a week's credit.
He did?
For that.
And
I got the email.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And I
this
will
was
say,
before the ordinance came.
Before we even
Yeah,
voted.
before we even talked.
I will say that since we voted for Waste Management, we have had problems, and I have emailed him, and he has been very.
Yo, he's
receptive.
responsive.
He's
He's very
responsive.
receptive to
Yeah, that's
everything.
okay.
This small part that I added right here was basically just so we would have something on paper, because we know everybody doesn't stay at their job forever.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
so at
put
least
the
we have-
one we, if we can throw that in there as far as.
Well, so it would be prorated as a way of like,
Right.
you know, like, if you divide up how many days of service and everything to the amount, you would get that amount back, because, kind of like, but
I would just say if they don't do it by the time that, by Tuesday, if they ought to come out Wednesday and over, that's a week, period.
I think what it
Let's
says is.
let's just go with the week, cause we're piggybacking off of what their management before the vote was, that he came out to do, cause we contacted them. And he went around there and he saw what the problem was, that's when we found out that we had the low hanger wire
Right.
around there, so they had to use a special truck, so you know that they have to do that. So if they know that, we shouldn't have to keep
Tell
telling
them
them
that they
about it.
have.
Because those streets, I'll ride around the streets
They're narrow,
on Mondays
yeah.
after pickup to make sure the water has gotten picked up, and that's when I noticed that didn't happen. And when we mentioned it, and we called Sam, he came out, he went out there and looked and saw what was up, and he informed us about the low hanging wire. So we gotta make sure that they bring the right truck.
Yeah, because we didn't know what the problem
We
was.
didn't know, we
until
just know they was
yeah.
missing it.
No, yeah,
Yeah, and I ended up seeing that low wire too.
Right.
and I think that,
So if we
I
just
think
go
that's
with,
the truck that
instead of we
they
saying
use.
prorated 3 days, 4 days a week, if you don't have it by, that's that week. You don't have it by Wednesday, you get a week's credit, period. Cause he agreed to that.
I understand what you're saying. Now, I remember a couple council members speaking about patrolling and making sure that we know that the trash will be there on Monday. So if there's cars or something going on where they can't get to the trash, will we have a patrol, or will we be able to have our public works or police department make sure that their cars are not violating, to stop our trash from being picked up?
No.
I mean,
So are you-
that's
are you-
putting it-
I'm just putting something out there.
are you, say the question again.
I was saying that, I recall that I got a call from the Nokomis that the trash couldn't be picked up because there was a car or there was something, there was a violation or something, the truck couldn't get in there and make the turn or whatever, so we didn't pick the trash up. He just left it. And then they had to call, and then they said, well, I couldn't get in there because there was a car or this or that. So that means that we gotta make sure that before that money comes, even that Sunday, that we got cars that are not gonna be out there, the cars or whatever out there stopping our truck from maintaining to pick up our trash. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
it
you don't
does,
want-
but I think the most effective way I think that's the
We
least
can't afford
effective
some.
way
Right.
to use police services,
Yeah.
to make sure that people are
You know
not
what,
So
parking on the.
So we
right
use
side.
our public
So,
works.
And I
so
think
this is
people-
what I think, this is what I think. I think that that's not the best use of police vehicles to drive around and make sure. Now, in the event that someone's trash is not picked up, I think people should do exactly what they've been doing. They need to contact Public Works.
Okay.
They're certainly free to contact Sam or myself or the council person and say like, hey, my trash was not picked up. However, I don't think it's the police's due diligence to drive around to make sure that.
So basically, I understand what you're saying, so basically, our public works would definitely be making sure that they're doing their job.
Well, this is the other thing. Dennis and also Rick, do drive around on Mondays to make sure that
Good.
trash has been picked up and everything is okay. So we already have that.
Okay, that's
solid
great,
in place.
that's great. Appreciate that.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I think it's more so education on the residents' part, because I get on my neighbor, and I get on my neighbor across the street. If you put your trash can right out in front of your car, they're not gonna pick it up. Your car is here, and you only giving them 12 inches. Yeah, they're gonna keep on going. Tony, they won't pick up my trash. Move it out a little bit. Once she moved it out a little bit, then she didn't have no more problems.
Okay.
So people, they need to realize they're coming up down the street with these big claws. They're not gonna take a chance and hitting your car because you put your trash can 6 inches. You know, they're gonna keep going.
And nobody wants to lose their job.
Yeah.
So, Mayor Pro Tem, one other thing, will we still have those citizens who can't get their trash to the curb? We still have those, like the stickers?
Valet service is indicated on.
It is? Okay.
It's actually, I think it's expanded a little.
Expanded?
Yeah, before it had to be like right in front of your it had to be on your driveway, now
It could be behind your house.
behind your house.
They'll go,
Or on
okay,
the side
Although
of
I
your
know
house.
in certain instances, they already do that, so.
okay. Yeah, because we've had that problem too, so, okay.
Can I?
Oh, Councilwoman Vega?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to do is to also do some of our own, education of our residents about their responsibilities, which is, you know, will probably be included in this code guide that we have. So we'll add some things about responsibilities around trash, what you can recycle, all that. Because You gotta do like flood and settle with people. You gotta tell them more than they possibly could remember and then hope that they'll remember something. And then you do it again. So when working with folks like this, we just have to constantly be putting certain things, when there's changes, they need to, we need to be able to communicate with folks.
There is a flyer included in the contract. We've already seen some draft. It includes things like Councilman Evans was talking about. It definitely includes things about what's recyclable and not. And I believe the contract has that there's at least some sort of communication annually. So that will help contribute as well as anything that the city does on its own.
Yeah, and we could back that up, remember blah, this, with little bullets or whatever. Because people do tend to read things sometimes.
Well, and one of the things that I think is gonna be important, because I've seen this in University City with their recycling, they have an electronic sign, which is in the budget and we would like to get, that says, do not put plastic bags in your recycling bin. And I think that when we have communication going on with residents, that they'll see it and read it. It's a constant on their board at Heman Park, on their electronic board. I mean, I look at it and I remember. So,
I know, me too. I
see it all the time. Can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 24-50?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution -24-51. A resolution of the City of Normandy amending a prior resolution calling for the joint establishment of a multi-jurisdictional transportation development district with others participating municipalities within the 24-1 municipal partnership and authorizing certain actions related thereto. Can I get a motion for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sam?
Yeah, so you'll remember we've talked about this a few times, and there's been some back and forth with 24-1 and Armstrong Teasdale and the Beyond Housing staff who are trying to get this put together. It was originally supposed to be on the November ballot. Now Beyond Housing is trying to put it on the April ballot, and they do need an answer, or this resolution passed by November. So we either need to do it at this meeting or the next meeting. As far as the numbers, they have been ironed out regarding street miles. Again, that was kind of the problem last time, is that there was some discrepancy and it was kind of all happening at the last moment. And so I know I certainly was questioning some of the numbers. But beyond the numbers being ironed out, the terms are significantly the same. Just to kind of remind everyone, this would institute a 1-cent sales tax in all the participating cities, which would include most of the 24-1, although notably like Northwoods, Cool Valley, and Bell Ridge aren't in there. And the 1-cent sales tax would go into this TDD, which is basically its own political subdivision at that point. The mayor would have a vote, our mayor would have a vote at this TDD, but they would pass through a significant portion of the sales tax to each municipality based on lane mile. And so, for instance, of the portion that gets passed through, we would get 16% of that. That it would likely be, ranging from about $150,000, depending on what we see. But it does levy a 1-cent sales tax that does have to go get voter approval. So I know we haven't talked about this issue in a while, so if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Sam, I was in on the earlier discussions of the TDG book, and but I saw that the figures are different now. How many municipalities are participating? You can count them up for me?
So that's on page.
I think it's
if
17,
you
let
look
me
at
count.
Okay.
Attachment 1-2. This one.
It is 17 on, yeah, attachment 1, 2, you got the whole list.
Yeah, and you got, no, it's the second one.
This,
No, the second.
this one.
Yeah. And then go to. Keep passing. Just a second.
So if we look at this, Pine Lawn, we have the highest number of miles within our municipality of any of these places, which means that we will get more money, more of a percentage of this
Right.
than some of these others. And I think in the long run, it's a good deal for us.
Right, that's what we were talking, we were saying,
Yeah, we talked about this one.
Yeah, I know, I
Yeah.
just want to see the new numbers.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
no, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 24-51?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution 24-52, a resolution of the city of Normandy supporting and authorizing the police department's participation in Defense Logistics Agency's law enforcement support office program and adopting a policy governing the same. Can I get a motion, to move into discussion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Sam?
I think Chief Sanders would
Chief Sanders?
probably be best.
The beginning and end, it's a program for the Department of Defense for us to access free stuff. We'll be able to get free stuff at no cost to the city. And the equipment list is in there, I can tell you what page it's on.
I'm just gonna ask how much it costs.
Free.
We good.
I don't ever bring you guys anything that really costs us
I know, I'm
money,
just joking with you.
except for contracts.
All right, Chief.
Okay.
I'm on board with all free stuff.
I agree.
So,
Where's the equipment list?
here, on page.
Yeah, second packet.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, and why everyone's flipping to that, this is surplus or decommissioned equipment from the Department of Defense. Instead of just throwing it in the trash or trying to sell it, they will lease it free to, if we actually don't get ownership, but they lease it to law enforcement.
As long as there's no tank.
Yeah, no heavy
No
duty
tank.
stuff. So what type of equipment are we talking about?
Whatever they have accessible, we intend to secure. Vehicles less than 1%, firearms less than 5%. If you look at the list, anything that they have available, they make the list available online, we go in there. Our hot button issue right now is a generator for the building, because we do not have one. So, I mean, there's lots of things that we can access, and we have a policy that governs how we use those things. And, our biggest goal is to get surplus property. We used to have a little PR Hummer that used to sit outside, that the kids would get inside the PR Hummer, and Chief Hall gave it away. So now we don't have anything, so, yes.
That was the one over at, Cool Valley, right?
Yes, we used to bring it out for all the parades, the kids loved it.
That yellow one?
No, it was black and
It
white.
was black.
Yeah, right.
And
What happened to
it had-
that, huh?
Chief Hall gave it away.
You gave it away?
He gave it to another police department.
Wow.
So we're trying to just get some cool things from the DOD that don't really have, the generator that we're looking to get, I think they said has 4 hours of runtime. And the cost of the generator is well over 100, Major Larson, I don't wanna misquote the price, what's the cost of the generator? He's listening. Major, can you unmute yourself? It's over $100,000 for the generator, it was like 169 or 79.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm trying to switch over so I can unmute myself. Yeah, it's about $98,000 was the original acquisition price for the U.S. military, and it had about, I think, 4 hours of runtime on the clock when I was looking at the pictures online. And that's just one of the things. We're also looking at a heavy duty trailer portable loudspeakers. There's a lot of equipment that I think could be repurposed and really benefit the city in a bunch of different ways.
That looks good.
We keep coming with free stuff.
That's what I like. Yeah, this is a good one. Good stuff on here too that you guys.
Lots
can,
of stuff.
you know,
Ballistic blankets.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
other questions?
Never know when you're gonna need it.
You sure don't, not out here these days.
Yeah, right.
So one of the concerns that I did have was about armored vehicles. So,
We can talk about armored
Yeah,
vehicles.
so
They're decommissioned vehicles, so it's basically a ballistic, it's a ballistic vehicle that can't be penetrated by bullets.
so this is the concern that I have. Just because of the using an armored vehicle in a community
That's right.
with black and brown people, to me, it gives a bad look to,
Intimidating.
and I'm not really sure that it's necessary for
The
us to
Hummer was an armored vehicle.
combat crime with that. So, like with that and the non-armored HMMWD, that's on the second table, you guys see that? It's like towards the bottom. Just those types of vehicles in general.
Have you guys done any research on what they come with and what they look like?
So, but
It's just
but that's
the
just those
perception.
types of vehicles in general, I'm just,
perception,
yeah, just
We
the
could probably
perception
take
of
them
it
out of
is what I'm
I'll say,
concerned with. So I'm not sure how everybody else feels about
I
that.
feel the same way.
Steve,
You know, I've actually seen some of these because I've been in Afghanistan. You couldn't tell that they're armored by the looks. You cannot tell. I've ridden in Hummers, various other ones, MRAPs. You can't tell that they have an inch of steel inside of it. It's not like they have it written on the side. You can't tell the difference in Hummer. That Hummer that they had in Cool Valley was armored vehicle.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
It's camouflaged.
Right, you can't see it. So what I'm saying is I don't think it would offend people because they wouldn't know that it was armored.
It already has offended people. Yeah, have you been watching the news?
Yeah, that type of vehicle
Yeah,
in a
they've been
small
talking about that
community
for
is not,
years.
we don't really
They're-
need that type of vehicle in a small community. That's my perception.
Can
Yeah,
I
you know,
ask
police
a question
department
about,
getting armed.
would they be, physically, they're probably, I don't know what colors they are, what markings they have, anything like that. But any military markings and anything like that would be completely removed from would they be branded as Normandy?
Yes, just like the
Okay,
Hummer
just-
was. We would paint them different colors to make them attractive to kids, and they'd only be used for parades. And the only time we would use an armored vehicle for anything police related is if we had an officer down or civilians down, and we needed to get in there and extract those people. The only way the cops are going in there is with an armored vehicle, because they're going to be being shot at. So, I mean, there's utility to it too in emergencies, but we've never driven armored vehicles around Normandy, nor would we start. These are parade vehicles, these are PR vehicles for kids to raise interest in law enforcement, where you get into them and they're completely hollowed out. They're called ballistic vehicles because they can resist a ballistic round.
They have no guns?
No, no, they're not armored in the fact that they have arms on them. The only arms on them would be the armored police officers sitting in them. But they're not going to be used for tactical operations. It's a PR thing, like what we used it for previously.
any other comments? So I'd like to amend resolution number 24-52, and this is amend to exclude armored vehicles as one of the supply.
Yeah. That's mainly.
What do I call this? Is it a supply list? Sam?
Section 3,
But do I call it a supply list or just from?
I would just say section 3.
To eliminate armored vehicles from section 3.
It wasn't no.
No?
Okay.
because it's the purpose of it.
Well, they got armored vehicle up here, and so what were you talking about, Yolanda?
The armored vehicle right here.
Okay, you talking about the armored vehicle in line one, okay, yeah. Now, what about the non-armored?
Well, if you wanna add that like later,
Yeah,
that's my motion.
I mean, that's okay with me, I just have a problem with the arm.
The armored vehicle, yeah, we can
This
exclude
is,
that, we can
That's a
probably,
that's
we
a
can
Humvee.
probably deal with the
Okay, we
non-armored,
can leave that in.
when we
So-
were talking about the non-armored, I would say.
Again, I want clarification on how these things look. Are they SUVs, they're Hummers, what are they?
There's lots of different styles of vehicles, it's whatever is available that they have in surplus, so we have our choice. We could get one Hummer for every 5 officers, so technically normally we could go get 6 Hummers if we wanted them. But we were looking for the armored car, like the one St. Louis County has, like the one that St. Louis City has, like the one Missouri State Highway Patrol has. There's one available in Pennsylvania. That was the purpose of us going back into the LISO grant to secure that equipment.
So was that included in here? You said armored vehicle.
The armored vehicle is here, but
Oh,
Well, yeah, these
the
are all
Humvee,
categories, right?
The
So,
And by armored
No, I thought
vehicles,
she said armored car.
they're not armored cars.
You said armored car.
They're ballistic proof is what you mean.
Okay.
They're ballistic vehicles. You can shoot at them and no one inside is going to get shot. The bullets are not going to penetrate the vehicle.
No.
So, we're not talking about, vehicles that look like they're, that you've seen used for crowd control and so forth, that have they've got mounted guns, and some places have
No.
gotten those kinds of things. We're talking about, if we talk about the look of an armored car, the president's limousine is an armored car. It looks like a limousine.
Correct.
But it's ballistically fitted, so if you shoot at the president's not gonna get killed. So it's not gonna look any different than any other Hummer or whatever the vehicle is. If it's a Chevy Equinox, you can armor that if you want to, if the suspension will hold it. So I don't think that the visual of the thing is going to be offensive to people.
I think kids are going to think it's cool like they always have. And we're not using it for daily operations, we're using it for PR and parades.
Wait, I wasn't done with my motion.
If I can interject, Chief, on that note.
No, they don't want us to speak.
Sure.
May I ask a question to,
Can you-
Chief Sanders?
Yeah, can you wait, where am I on the motion?
You were beginning and trying
Yeah, to make a motion.
indicate
I was just-
where on the table,
Oh, okay. Do I need to go
referring
on with
to-
it, or can I go to Councilwoman Shivers?
well, you haven't even finished the
Oh,
motion.
okay. Councilwoman Shivers, you can go. Sorry.
Okay, Chief Sanders, out of all of the vehicles that I see up at Normandy City Hall and across the street, are you informing us that not any of those vehicles are armored proof?
We don't have any ballistic vehicles in the city of Normandy, no ma'am.
Is there a way that the vehicles that are not being used, do we know how many vehicles are not being used?
Every patrol car here is being used.
Pardon?
Every vehicle here is being used. We don't have any unused vehicles in the police department.
We don't have enough police to use all those vehicles that I see.
Well, now we're off topic.
Yeah.
Do you have a question about the motion?
But I'm saying though, Mayor Pro Tem, we wanna have informative information. So, we don't have enough police officers. for
So
all
now
those
we're
vehicles.
actually we're on this resolution.
Well, I wanna get accurate information, please.
So what is your question? Or pertaining to
The
this
vehicles,
resolution?
all of the vehicles up there, they can't be used every day.
That's a statement, but do you have a question?
It's a statement, but I
So-
don't make statements that are not true.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the resolution. Do you,
Okay,
so-
if we keep putting a Band-Aid or bandage on facts, we'll never get anywhere.
They have to be fast though.
so, no, So resolution number 24-52 talks about, the property that the police want to acquire. Do you see that in your packet?
Were you speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you didn't call me by name, Pro Tem.
I've only been speaking to you.
Well, I didn't know that. I did not see
Can
it.
we get
Can
it
you,
on,
do you
please?
see where we are in your packet? Do you have a question about that particular table? Is what I'm,
Okay, but I asked the chief of police.
okay, I think she answered it, but we're gonna move on with this, resolution. Does anybody else have
Well,
anything?
you keep moving.
Thank you. Does
Nah,
anybody
I
else have-
just have problem with the armored vehicles, not right now.
So I'm gonna
What
go,
is this, trunk, tank, and cargo types?
Chief Sanders, can you answer that one?
Cargo types, what is that?
You guys can go on the leasehold program list and you can look up anything on the list and look at visual descriptions of it. I don't have a visual description of everything on it.
That would be a truck that has a tanker on it. It's not a military tank.
Okay.
Like a transportation tank that you could put liquid in.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Um,
You don't know what it is.
so
No, I don't want anything.
that's not, so, I'd like to make a motion to amend resolution, 24-52 to exclude armored vehicles from the list, from section 3.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Can I get a roll call vote? I can tell.
Okay, just to clarify, was that column 2?
Just section 3. He said just section 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of the
okay.
resolution.
So the whole thing, okay, I'm just clarifying.
Just that one.
Yep, section
the
3,
armored
got it,
vehicles.
yep, thank you. Councilman Saxonhammer,
No.
Councilwoman Cleveland,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Evans,
That's amended, right? Yes.
Councilwoman Shivers,
Councilwoman Shivers?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayer,
No.
and Councilwoman Campbell.
Yes.
All right.
Lord knows.
Can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 24-52 as amended?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Did you hear it? You got it?
Who was the first? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The no's were Steve and,
No, I was,
it was a motion to adopt as amended.
yes, who was the first?
Tony.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I thought he seconded, sorry. I
Yeah,
misheard.
second.
Wait, who was
Yeah,
first?
you second,
Oh,
thank
who was
you,
first?
yeah.
Oh,
Pam was first, I was
Yeah.
second.
Okay, perfect, sorry.
Motion approved. Resolution approved. Number 5, discussion of chess tables in public right of way. Andy, can you take this one?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. So before, we've heard a lot during public comments and about the chess tables, and before we have any further discussion of what to do about these chess tables, I just want to kind of set the table, so to speak, with the city's current ordinances are, and so that the council knows what it can do, what it can't do, and what changes might need to be made to the code to authorize these chess tables. So, currently, the section 510010 of the code does authorize the council to make certain encroachments, to authorize certain encroachments into the right-of-way by permit. However, 510020 prohibits obstructions, right? So we have a distinction between encroachments and obstructions. And I think the key issue right now is that in 510020 obstructions, there is a specific prohibition on the placement of any recreational device which would be likely to, I believe the language is reasonably likely or foreseeable that persons utilizing such equipment or facility will go onto a public street or roadway or any public right-of-way in the process of utilizing such equipment, right? So I think a fair reading of that ordinance prohibits anything that would involve attracting people into the right-of-way to use that, right? So I think that would include a chess table, right? There is also the question of, or I also have concerns about the permitting process for allowing encroachments. So let's just say that these chess tables weren't possibly outright prohibited by the ordinance, but could be allowed by permit. There's no criteria in that section about granting a permit, right? So think about our special use permit ordinance. There's a whole, it's a long list of criteria for the council to evaluate applications for those permits. But here, there are no criteria. So if the council were to authorize a permit allowing placement of, chess tables, for example, in the right-of-way, but then somebody else comes along and they want to place some sort of table or something related to their business in the right-of-way, well, now the council may have some issues distinguishing between those two permits and saying, well, this is allowed and this is not, but why, right? So you could get yourselves into some hot water there. So I'm not trying to, rain on anyone's parade, right? I personally like the idea of the chess tables for what it's worth. But if the council is going to allow the chess tables, I think there needs to be some amendments to the code, and that probably needs to be discussed at a workshop.
That's cool.
So this is the breakdown of it. MoDOT initially said no. Ms. Forrest did go back and ask them, and they said, until we come up with a resolution, the tables can stay where they are. So we have.
So MoDOT is throwing it back in our.
Well, and just to.
Well, no, they haven't. They said they're going to investigate.
Okay.
That's what they said. So they're gonna do further
They did
investigations
MoDOT, right?
into MoDOT, into like what they originally said that it was supposed to be, and then I guess some measurements. They did go out today, like Ms. Ford said, and look around and looked at the chess tables and everything. But they said until a decision has been definitively made, the tables can stay there, so she doesn't have to move them. But go ahead.
Well, I was also going to say, even if the council amends the code and issues a permit allowing these tables, if MoDOT ultimately says no, they're out, right? It doesn't matter what the council does because it's not the city's right of way.
These
MoDOT's
are our
right of way, so that's.
three choices. MoDOT is the umbrella. Okay, so.
Excuse me, I'm gonna object to the fact that MoDOT is the umbrella. MoDOT,
Agree.
Well, I can't, this one, I cannot do, none of us can do anything about that being their area. That was done before I came to Normandy, and that was done during the Gray Street project. Like I've said in the past, this code was written, if you look at it, it says 1975, and then the next time it was revisited was in 2000. This is 2024, and Gray Streets was done way before that. So in that case, when you're doing a project of that magnitude, it seems like you would look into your code to see like how this does affect my plan and my future going forward. But with that being said, these are the options that we have set before us, and we cannot. And I told Ms. Forrest that I cannot circumvent the ordinances or you as a council. I will not do that. So going forward, and I've said this to her, just understanding what the process is going forward, this is what we have. MoDOT says no. We say yes. Okay, so she can keep them where they are, but we have to amend the code. Okay, like Andy's saying, we need to make sure that our ducks are in a row. Okay, and so in that case, we can basically like say, we're gonna do all of these things, the tables would stay where they are. We would email MoDOT and say, this is what we came up with and everything, but it's up to them to say yes, definitively yes. We say yes, we like them, But we don't want them there. She does have a grassy area on the side that they can be moved to. Okay, so that's another option. We still are saying, well, MoDOT said no, but we said yes, and you can have the tables. But they're just on the side in the grassy part and everything. The code stays the same. We wouldn't have to do anything to the code if we have her move them to the side. Yes, we like them moved to the side. MoDOT says no, and then we say, no, we don't like them. She can still move them to the side because that's still her property. So she can still keep the tables. I'm just telling you what the three.
Right.
So she has, so right now the table, I like where they are now, it looks really nice. But if MoDOT says no, she can still keep those.
They would just need to be moved to the side.
Excuse me,
So those are the.
Mrs. Valley.
I do wanna go back to this whole MoDOT thing.
Right.
I don't believe they're on the MoDOT right of way.
They're not.
I've been there, I walked around it, they went out and measured, and I think that we shouldn't go with the assumption, that they are. Secondly, you know, and I've talked to people who are in much higher political positions in the county, who say, I think we can get around MoDOT on this. So I would like us to take the approach that we think it's a good thing, and we're gonna look at ways to have this happen.
I'd like to add something. The Great Streets was designed, I've been here for a while, and I understand that the Great Streets were designed to have the loop, listen to West End, the places to be able to sit out there and eat. You gotta recall, several months ago, Honey's Cafe wanted to have an eating spot out front. We didn't ask MoDOT for any information. Same sidewalk, next door neighbor, MoDOT ain't had nothing to do with it. We as a board decided that we voted against them putting tables out there and having lunch. We did that. We're a third-class city. MoDOT that's not their right of way, to my understanding. Ms. Van Am with the UMSL, she was part of the Great Streets with Pat Green and all of that. And that corridor right there was designed for Normie to do whatever they wanted to do. We also had concerts over there several years ago. But I understand that MoDOT had spoken to Mrs. Forrest and told her that if you can get signatures for residents, it's okay with us. That sidewalk, if you look at it and look east, the sidewalk narrows and goes east. She owns that building, the next building, she owns it right past the bus stop. There's grass. There's a median of grass right there. If you walk down that grass will continue going to Honey's. It will be continued to her place there. I don't know what the survey is or whatever, but MoDOT, they don't own that portion that she has. She's been there 54 years, before MoDOT, before Great Street, before that. Of course, MoDOT is in charge of Natural Bridge because it's a highway. But we, as a board, we can vote on allowing her to keep those boards there, and it's a great thing. Everybody likes it, St. Louis County likes it, the citizens like it, the school board likes it. It's a great thing. And we just gotta thank Civil Force for being able to have that place there for that to happen. But we voted for Honey Barn not to put the tables out there. Recall, board? And
It's a different situation.
well, it's the same street. Same street. We didn't ask MoDOT. That's all I got to say about that. So whatever we gotta do as the board, we need to do what you said, like Andy said, write a resolution, let MoDOT know, and MoDOT will be fine with it. That's my understanding.
Sam,
Yes,
can
sir,
you
Steve?
talk about the difference between what's the sidewalk with
Yeah, tell me the
and the
difference.
sidewalk?
Yeah, so there's a survey in your packet. It's the third from last page. You'll see that the property lines are dotted lines. You'll see that on the survey it says MoDOT, because this is MoDOT right of way.
Right.
And you'll see that you can see on lot 22 and 21, which is where we're talking about, that you can see the outline of where her planter boxes are, which the chess tables are up against. And that is the end of her property line. So, just for the sake of discussion and moving forward, I know it seems like everyone, loves the tables. I know that not everyone's spoken yet, but just as a matter of fact, let's get the facts straight. They're on the sidewalk, they're in the right of way. MoDOT has to say yes. We would also have to say yes. So just, that's the facts. It's not, for the tables or against the table. And then right now, our code just does not allow it. We would need to amend the code. But we also, and we can get into this at the workshop, we have to be very mindful about how we amend the code, because there's a reason why that exists. And I know in this case, we're talking about an awesome thing like chess tables, and we're talking about an extremely wide sidewalk, but we have to be careful about how we draft it, because if we're not careful, then we're gonna, and maybe people are okay with this, but then we're gonna allow basketball streets in the road, which is our other thing. So we just gotta be mindful of that, or we're gonna allow people just to start putting anything out on the sidewalk in front of their property.
I don't think that's the issue.
So this actual survey here?
That's the actual survey.
So does this survey continue on into Honey's?
Yeah, so about the Honeys, although really not relevant, but Honeys asked to put outside dining on their property, and we told them no because of zoning. Has nothing to do with encroachments or instructions on the right-of-way. We told them no because our zoning code says nothing about outside dining. It does not address it. The board did not vote to tell them no. The board voted to refer it to planning and zoning, and they will get up to it when they get to it. I will say that, to your point, there is, large grassy areas, pavilions as part of Grape Street. And so maybe we should just think about our code and things that we can do to allow certain uses in Grape Streets. But whatever we do, even to replace a tree in the right of way on National Bridge, to replace a curb, we have to get a permit from MoDOT. We have to get there, yes.
Well, Mr. Johnson, I think that it's a great thing, and I think we need to work as a board, as a city administrator, lawyer. I think we need to work to get this thing rectified, because we don't want to have problems with the citizens, because the citizens will want this to happen. So
I think we all agree on that. That's what we're doing.
We're all on the same board that it's a good thing,
We're all saying the
but
same thing.
we still have to see what MoDOT.
So I think this is.
We're not saying no.
What I think needs to happen is, like Andy said, we need to take it to, I'm gonna let you see. What Andy says, we need to take it to a workshop, but what we wanna make sure of is that we don't occur some unforeseen, like, we didn't think about that and everything, because recreational, equipment encompasses a whole lot of stuff, and my whole thing is not circumventing the law or the council, but making sure that our ordinances, one, are followed, and then that we are cleaning up what we need to.
So as you said, at this point, leave them there and let's check and see what we need to do.
Well, the MoDOT has said that they will allow her to leave them there.
Yes.
And everything, and we will talk about it at a workshop, but I'm
There you
going
go.
to see.
Sounds good.
Okay, first thing is, Sam, did I understand you correctly? They are sitting on MoDOT's property, not on Afro World's property?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's Normandy's problem.
Stop.
No, that's MoDOT's. Two, if we amend this ordinance to make them fit, and I'm personally for it, but we were put on here for one reason, to do things the correct way. One of the ways we were put on this is, if you adjust this to make this work, is someone, God forbid, gets hurt, does that make the city liable for a lawsuit?
Let me ask this question.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Andy, would that make us liable since it's MoDOT property? And we amend this ordinance to make this work, and I like it. I'm just saying, I don't want to set Normandy up for a potential lawsuit down the road if someone gets hurt down there.
So I mean, I haven't done a full analysis of that, but off at first blush, merely authorizing a permit for something doesn't, give the city any sort of liability when something goes wrong with that, when somebody misuses that, permit or something, right? So if let's say there's like an accident or something where somebody goes off the road and hits somebody that's sitting and playing at those tables, that wouldn't be any different than somebody going off the road and hitting someone walking down the sidewalk, right? The city's not on the hook for that, because
Okay,
it's not a
but
dangerous condition.
even though we adjust our ordinances.
Right, I don't believe so.
And I'll say, one of the things that MoDOT's checking right now, from my understanding, is they're gonna make sure that everything is still ADA compliant with the sidewalk, which the sidewalk, it's still extremely wide. You still have, 8 or 10 feet wider than a normal sidewalk, even with the chest tables there. They still have to go through, run the numbers, check the ADA statutes, and that's what they're doing right now.
Good.
All right, so we'll take this to a workshop. Can we
Yeah.
get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to
Oh,
adjourn.
wait, excuse me, there's someone who wants to speak, there's a citizen comment, right?
Oh, wait, citizens comments, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is there someone on Zoom? Can you check
Is
the
Miss,
Zoom?
is Miss
Yes,
Forrest,
I've had her on the
is
list.
Miss Forrest still on? Did she
Uh,
want to say
yes.
something? Did she raise her hand?
It's more, yeah, she's on Zoom.
Yes, Kimberly Moore did ask to be on, so.
Go ahead, Miss Moore.
Hello, council. Hello, board. Good evening. Sorry I wasn't able to be in attendance. I was able to catch the bulk of the meeting and just have 4 quick things I wanted to bring up from what I've heard thus far. In reference to the budget, Sam, I'm glad that we found some money and a way to finagle a few things. I just want to be really, really direct here in saying that I'm not quite sure how much experience certain board members have with finance and budgeting. And just because we found money does not mean that we need to spend it straight away. We have gone for years without being able to do things that citizens have become accustomed to, that every community should have. So I just wanted to say that instead of spending it as soon as we find it, let's catch up and build a reserve for inclement things that may come up. 2, speaking to some of my elderly neighbors about waste management, when they I don't have it in front of me, but it appears to have like a $10 increase annually. And I know we all know about shrinkflation in the economy, but it seems like a lot of companies and organizations, they're charging absorbent rates because they can. And I don't think that a $10 increase every year, maybe 5 or 7, but 10 every year, that's going to become cost prohibitive. And Sam can speak to this. We already have so many residents who don't pay that bill now. When it's $130 in 3 years, we're going to have some problems. So I would love if someone on the board could push back on waste management to be a little bit more amiable, to be a little bit more flexible, to be more fair. I know we all want to make profits, but we don't want to price gouge our residents, because if it's $10 a year now, what is it going to be in 10 years? A $300 every 6-month gas, trash bill. Next is a question. If someone can answer it, whether that be Sam or a board member. Many of us submitted the survey. Just wanted to know, when would those results from the survey be shared with residents?
Sam, can you?
It will take them a little bit of time to get all the results, but they'll present the results at a council meeting.
Okay, awesome sauce. Okay, thank you, Sam. Last 2 things, Sam, I know we spoke a few months ago. Since the weather has cooled down, still looking forward to the new street signs being put in. We're past due. I can't wait to see those new shiny emblems. And my last portion is just to kind of piggyback off what you all said, to offer some assistance for the chess tables on Natural Bridge. Similar to other local municipalities like Clayton and Creve Coeur, they have ordinances. We don't have to reinvent the wheel when so many other places are doing this, where they have areas that abut an area that MoDOT is quote unquote in control of, and they're still able to have that seating in those restaurants. And I believe the council member one was talking about safety. There's also funds allotted that MoDOT can give when that is done. That won't cost us anything to have, I forgot what they're called. They can go up and down for security. So like if a restaurant does have seating, there has to be so many inches away from the street, from the curb, and then they can put up those security guards so that no one is hit. I don't know if you recall that happened in Clayton at a restaurant and they changed their ordinances. If you would like, I can share those with someone later on this evening or tomorrow, but we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Other cities are doing it. Let's see what they're doing and work together and be collaborative. And I'm sure they'll share the information. If not, I've worked with Creve Corps previously. I don't mind sharing those resources with you guys. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Is that it?
I haven't gotten any yet.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Before you, does she have?
Oh, anybody else have citizen?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to, I got here late, I'm sorry. But what is the 24-51 about transportation? What was it?
We can talk to you about that after.
Okay, good.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion, second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Some more closed session.
Have a good night.